warm welcome to the Web3 Family Conference in Barcelona. This is Nari representing SimpleSwap, and today I have a very special guest, Gino Singolani from Decentraland DAO. Hello, Gino. How are you?
Great, amazing.
Very nice to see you here. How do you like the vibe of the conference?
Amazing conference, sunny Barcelona. It's really cool.
Just a little bit windy, right?
Yeah, but that's good.
There is no objection when it comes to crypto. How do you like the conference?
Super great, cozy, friendly, small community, super engaged. The content of the conference has been like super good, so really enjoying it.
You're enjoying it. What's the thing that you most liked about the conference for the past 3 days?
Well, in crypto conferences, I usually say that the best thing is like the after hours and the gathering, like in places like this. That's the best thing. That's where the value gets created. That's where you can meet awesome people. That's where you can like exchange ideas or even start projects. So that's good.
Could you provide an overview of your roles and responsibilities within the Decentraland platform?
Yeah, totally. So Decentraland is a project that is structured with a foundation and a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. The DAO has core units working on the operational side of the platform, and I lead the team building all the tooling for decision-making of the community. Basically, Decentraland is a decentralized metaverse where the community make decisions regarding the future and the continuity of the project and the product. And the DAO is the place where those discussions happens, and my team works on the governance side of like building all of that.
So you guys are the decision makers behind the company in a way?
We are. The community is the decision maker. We are the ones building the tools for the community to get the information they need to make informed decisions and better decisions.
It's a very good point. Community is the one that makes decisions. What else is community for you?
Well, community in any decentralized project is basically the first barrier of security. Like an engaged community makes stronger decentralized networks. An engaged community lowers the cost of marketing, because if people are really enjoying the product and are really enjoying what they do with the product, they will like speak out loud and create events and do social media and all of that just because they care about the project. In the case of Decentraland, for example, we have a big grants program where the community build experiences, games, events, and wherever they want to do in terms of creativity and in terms of experiences in the metaverse. And that is also part of what community is in Decentraland.
Oh, that's awesome. Does it mean that the community-centric approach is at the core of Decentraland's activities?
That's correct. Yeah, totally.
That's nice. It's absolutely great. Why did you decide to join the family of Decentraland platform?
I always like to work in products that have like strong communities in the back. My first experiences working in the tech industry were social media and social gaming. So after a few years of doing different things on the product space in tech, I decided to go back to a project where the community really cared and there was like a strong sense of humanity and interaction in the technology that we were building.
Is it what motivates you to keep going in the company?
Definitely, yeah.
What else motivates you to stay with the company?
Well, I feel that so after the metaverse hype in 2022, it looks like the interest in the concept faded a little bit away. And I really believe that the next gen of communication layer on the internet between people is going to be more immersive. It's going to be more spatial, let's say. Like the amount of information that we're consuming from the devices we are consuming, it basically cell phones and screens, are making us sick, right? It's like really difficult to try to make sense and consume all that information just with your eyes on a screen. So having a more spatial approach of how we interact with others and how we consume information, I think is going to be the next big thing. And for that to happen, I would really like to see a project like Decentraland or any other building the decentralized infrastructure for that to happen. That's why I feel that the project is super valuable for the ecosystem, for the community, as a proof of concept of what the technology can do, but also as a potential next step on the next generation of internet.
That's really important that you care about the next generation. Everything that you do revolves around the concept of decentralization. Just as the name, Decentraland.
Correct.
Perfect. So what are some of the most exciting and innovative aspects of Decentraland's platform if we just compare it to other similar gaming experiences or virtual worlds?
Well, basically, the biggest challenge that we tackle and that we're always trying to solve and improve is how can you create a performant 3D experience without centralized servers, basically with a P2P layer of servers, of blockchain metadata, of clients running basically the communications layer, the interfaces to, I don't know, to chat between different users, and wherever is needed for the project to run, especially a super content and information heavy product like a 3D world. I think it's the most innovative thing that Decentraland has been doing for the last few years. And of course, we're always trying to find new ways to either solve issues or fill the gaps of our product offering. But I would say
How do you do that? How do you do that? Because I feel like a lot of people want to know behind the stages. Do you counter the user feedback?
Yeah, basically, yeah, research is always, at least from a product perspective, research is always the biggest signal that you might have. Market opportunities and how the market is moving as well. For example, in the last few years, so Decentraland has been around for, I don't know, 6-7 years now. It started as a initial concept in 2015, but in 2017 it became a real project. And at that time, for example, the founders and the core team building the platform at that time decided to create like a closed world where each coordinate on the map was a parcel, right? And in the last few years, in different metaverses or different concepts of virtual worlds, we're starting to see a trend where the map is not closed, like the map can grow infinitely. And that's amazing, right? At that time, we didn't have that like insight and that idea wasn't there. So we created an artificial scarcity that it maybe restricted the growth of the project. So what we've been doing in the last few years is creating different methodologies, for example, giving away isolated worlds for users and having different ways to lower the barrier, of entry to the project and to allow everyone to experience what it is to be on a project like this.
It's actually good that you actually made a reference to the past. So where is Decentraland right now?
Where's Decentraland right now? Basically, we are building a new client, which is going to be more performant, it's going to be mobile friendly, and it's going to be VR friendly. That's the biggest focus of the Decentraland Foundation right now. And regarding the DAO, we are basically doing a whole revamp on the governance mechanisms of the project. As I was saying, like since it was like one of the OGs in the ecosystem, some decisions that we made in the past, for example, having token-weighted voting in the DAO or things like that, are things that we're starting to change and that we're starting to reform. And on the community and on the DAO side, we're starting to see some big movements on the governance side of the project.
Well, that's interesting. I want to know a little bit further. I want to know, let's say, on a scale from wizardry to rocket science, how would you describe the technology behind Decentraland?
For me, everything is wizardry because I'm not an engineer, I'm a product person. So, but I would say that the concept of basically referencing a 3D asset and bringing that 3D asset from a P2P server and having it connected with an NFT and like all of that is really amazing. Actually, I had a talk yesterday and I was talking about how the technology behaved, and I think that's the thing that amazes the most to the people, right?
People.
Like,
yeah.
wow,
Well, technology matters.
Definitely matters, and it's definitely so the infrastructure where we build products on top is really important because it's a political decision, it's a scaling decision, and it's part of what makes the product what it is. So yeah.
How does Decentraland navigate regulatory challenges in different jurisdictions now?
So regarding like metaverse and NFTs, at least in the countries where the project is like operating legally, there's no issues there. We always watch closely to the situation and evaluate what we do to be regulatory and compliant with local regulations. But to be honest, we haven't faced any like big issues.
Big challenges?
Not yet.
What's the stance like?
Hopefully.
Overall, what's the feeling about this?
I don't know. I feel that it will depend a lot on how the market moves in the next few months. I think that back in in 2021, 2022 with the like NFT summer and people getting crazy rich by selling NFTs and things like that. Of course, that created like a momentum towards regulation and towards, okay, how can we restrict or how can we control this? To be honest, for me, it would be amazing for the local governments to try to regulate, but also to try to understand the technology.
The importance of the technology.
Definitely, the importance of the technology and the limitations and the possibilities of the technology.
Absolutely.
I think that's something that it's starting to build, and it's starting to create some shared knowledge around that. So I would hope to see the next wave of regulations or projects of regulations being way better than the ones we've seen like in the last 2 or 3 years.
I think the government is usually getting a little bit more used to seeing decentralization, right?
Yeah.
That's at least my feeling about the situation.
Yeah, it takes time. It's not easy. It's not a simple technology. It's not a simple community. And there's a lot of fear, which it makes sense. But I think we're going to start seeing more and more understanding of the situation and, as a result, better regulations there.
That's right. So I think our audiences want to know a little bit more about the real world use cases, even the most weirdest ones or even the most innovative ones. Could you please share a little bit?
Yeah. For me, one of the most interesting, besides like the classical metaverse use case of events, games, and those kind of things, are on the education side. There are a lot of projects trying to make education in immersive spaces. Not only Decentraland, but any immersive space, because it is a better way to consume content. It is a better way to create engagement with students, with people teaching. And it's like, education for me is going to be one of the next big things. And also regarding like the general metaverse industry, I would say that anything related to industry and handwork and craft, that is also something that we're going to see more and more as the technology becomes better, as the devices become better. We're going to start to see more people training in immersive spaces doing things.
Do you have any platform that educates people on what exactly do you want them to be spatialized in?
So you mean like metaverse skills? Like
Absolutely. Just the kind of, let's say, person, the kind of education that you want to have in the future?
I would say that we're going to start seeing more and more like hybrid roles. Right? I don't know how the future is going to look like, and that's the thing that excites me the most about the future.
Oh, you're very optimistic about the future. That's good.
I mean, I am. I'm also scared because the technology moves fast, but I am pretty optimistic. But I'm definitely seeing more like weird mixed roles of people coming from completely different backgrounds, merging into like one skill set that is specific and super useful for like one product or one industry. But we started to, I mean, we've been seeing that for a lot of years. But in the recent years with AI, we started to see like psychologists, engineers, linguistics, and people from different backgrounds creating hybrid roles. And maybe the same position in a company might be held by someone with a humanities background and someone with a, I don't know, medical or sciences background, and they're doing the same, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely right, because it refers already to all kinds of professions and skills and everything. Yeah. That's right. So I want to know any plans to integrate Decentraland with similar other virtual platforms in the coming future?
So yeah, I mean, we are actually. Last year, we released the first export version of avatars. So basically, users can export their own avatars and import them in different metaverses. So you can take like your Decentraland wearables and everything into a rigged armory and import it in a different place. So for me, like the concept of interoperability is super critical in the discussions around the metaverse, but the reality is that in terms of the actual implementation, it's super hard. Until now, I mean, it's been super hard, and I think it's gonna keep being hard until, I don't know, Gen AI becomes better. So for example, if your metaverse has like a pixel art aesthetic and my metaverse has like a 3D, more hi-fi aesthetic, if there's something in the middle that can connect both, like aesthetics without effort, without hassle, I think that's gonna be a game changer.
Yeah, so how do you deal with the interoperability and how do you try to expand the ecosystem as such?
Decentraland, for example, has a really nice feature called linked wearables, which are basically a way for NFT holders from big NFT collections to, when they log in Decentraland with their wallets, to display their NFTs in a 3D way.
Wow.
So that's like one thing, like you can basically transform your PFP into a 3D model that you can use. So that's one thing. It's really cool because the DAO decides which collections, which like NFT communities are worth being on that registry, on that select list of communities. So that is also cool because it's not only the technology behind the feature, but also the community deciding which other communities do they want to onboard to the Decentraland platform.
Absolutely great. So, well, any plans to collaborate with major players in the VR industry, like the ones crafting the top-notch famous VR glasses?
Not that I can talk about. I mean, there's nothing specific regarding like the big tech. But it would be amazing to see a really performant Decentraland client on VR soon, and we're working towards that.
What's the future of VR in the coming 1 to 2 years, and what's the future of it in the long term for you?
That's a huge
question.
No.
Well, let's start by parts. In short term, what's the future of VR?
As I was saying, for me, the way that we are consuming information, the way that we've been consuming information for the last like 30 years hasn't changed that much. We're still using screens and our eyes, and that's basically it. And the amount of information that we've been consuming has been increased like, I don't know, 10x fold or 100x fold in the last few years. So I would expect to see a more spatial approach of consuming information, right? If you, I don't know, wherever, if you like
how would you
wake up,
explain that?
For example, if you wake up at morning and you have to look at the phone to see the weather, it's something that it's going to be on your window, right? You're going to see the temperature on your window. You're going to see the sun shining or you're going to see rain, but you're going to see the temperature, you're going to see what to wear, and you won't have to go to your phone or go to your...
sort of dependency on the phone.
So for me, virtual reality is not going to be only visual. It's going to be auditive as well, like with sound, and it's
accessible.
So we're going to start to see less and less chunky interfaces and devices, and that's going to be more blended with our reality.
That's quite interesting. I'd love to wake up and see the weather on my window, actually. I think that's quite a bit of a challenge, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the milestones that you want to reach in the coming years?
So this year, we have our first community summit. It's going to be a conference in Buenos Aires.
In Buenos Aires? Yeah. Argentina again. That's very good to know.
A lot of community members will join and we'll discuss the future of the platform. To be honest, I mean, because it is a decentralized project and because the community really cares and really governs the project, I don't know what's gonna come up from that conference, but I think it's gonna be super exciting, and we're gonna see a community manifesto or something really soon, because the conference is gonna be, I think, in May, so it's in a few months.
So you're looking forward to a big event.
Definitely, it's gonna be amazing.
That's absolutely great. So I want you to open the secrets for our users. What's the future of the crypto projects worldwide? Well, that's a hard question, but that's the beauty of it. Go ahead, please.
Adoption.
Adoption.
I mean, yeah, that's what we need. Adoption.
More adoption.
More adoption. We're gonna see more real. Yeah, we're gonna see more real world use cases. We're gonna see more blended projects between like Web3 and more traditional tech approaches. I think we need to see that in the next wave.
No challenges. Nothing like a challenge.
Well, I mean, yeah, speculators. Regulations might be a challenge if they are not implemented well.
Also the mindset of people at times.
Sometimes the mindset of the OG members of the industry might be a challenge, yeah, definitely.
That's quite interesting. So what are some of your top 5 favorite crypto projects you want to share with us behind the scenes? Yeah.
Top 5 crypto projects. Okay, I would say that I really like what Optimism is doing with their governance. I really like the Arbitrum DAO, and I'm thinking about governance because that's what I'm focused, and that's what I like. So the Arbitrum DAO is doing amazing things. I really like what Gnosis is doing with their governance mechanisms.
Anything else?
I always like what Nouns does with their community tooling and anything related to empower the community with their NFTs and the value of their NFTs. So I really like what they do as well.
That's great. So what do you think is going to happen? Are we going to have, let's say, an alt season after Bitcoin halving or not? What do you think about this?
I think the next few weeks are going to be a good time to buy more crypto.
Buy?
Yeah.
Sell or hodl?
No, hodl. Always.
Hodl. Always. All the people here agree on one thing. We should hodl more and more. That's correct. And I've got another question for you. It's just a special question. Do you think that Bitcoin will hit 100K this year?
I don't know. I don't feel skilled to answer that question. Hopefully, yes. Hopefully, yes, but I don't know.
But anyways, thank you very much for a very insightful conversation. I think our community loved what you shared with them, and they're looking forward to being in Buenos Aires for more events coming up in the future.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Bye.